love them. They're the world's largest rodent.
They're
That's
big.
why-
They're like little pigs.
Yep. So now we need to go to Wings so we can see these bloody rodents.
There's one day.
No,
Yeah, I know.
steer clear.
Yeah, it's like overdone guinea pigs.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I know. No.
Yeah.
Oh, they'd eat all right then.
I shout.
Oh, I reckon.
Yes.
Welcome, councillors. The chairman, I will declare that the meeting is open and we're digitally recording our council meetings to assist in the preparation of minutes and to allow for the live stream. A reminder of those in attendance to ensure their mobile phones are switched to silent throughout the meeting. The Secretariat Council acknowledges the North West Tasmanian Aboriginal people as the traditional custodians of the country on which we stand, meet and play. We recognise their continuing connection to the land, waters and community. We pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. Attendance, we have a leave of absence previously approved for Councillor Flowers and a late apology from Councillor Poposky who's taken ill. Ask you the upstanding for prayers, please.
Let us take a moment to clear our minds and focus on achieving outcomes that serve the greater good of the whole community. May light illuminate all present and support everyone to bring their highest and best selves to the debate and the decisions made here tonight.
Thank you. 2.1, confirmation of minutes of the Thursday, 16th of January council meeting, a copy which has previously been circulated to councillors, is confirmed as a true record. I'll have a move and a seconder, please. Thanks, Councillor Dabner. Seconded. Councillor Hine. No debate. Put the motion. Those in favour.
Aye.
Against. Carried. Conflicts of interest. I'll declare a conflict of interest of 20.2 in the closed session. Any others? Thank you. 4.1, Mayor's Communications. I'll jump in here before I ask for any questions. The mural opening, you'll see there somewhere. It's in there somewhere.
13th.
13th of February, skate park mural unveiling. The Deputy Mayor stood in for me for that, so apologies, mate, but this would come out before that happened. Could you take that one out, please? Any questions on any of those? Councillor Collins?
Through you, Mr Mayor, the Ruth Forest visit.
It was, just a general catch up with the GM and myself.
Okay.
No
Substance.
No, just
Substantial items.
in a break of her work to catch up and have a chat, and I just chatted through varying bits and pieces from there.
Very good.
Right, can I have a move and a second that they be noted, please? Thanks, Councillor Dabner. Seconded. Deputy Mayor, put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. No, couple of workshops, 3 workshops there, 4.3. Any questions or queries? If not, I'll move in a second that they be noted. Thanks, Councillor Pilkington. Seconded, Councillor Dabner. Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. No public here. No planning. 7.1, Councillor Oldacre's question with the officer's response. Good. Okay, 7.2, none in writing. 7.3, questions without notice. Councillors, Councillor Oldacre.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. My question relates around, there's a sign up at the recreation ground that was, they said it was bought nearly 11 years ago since that sign was bought, but it was installed in 2016. It only faces one side. frightened me today when I was informed that the one down at, what that sign cost us down at Swell was extraordinary. Now I know that I'll get his name right this time, Lucas has been and inspected the thing up there. They've got power to it, but it doesn't work. Now, are we able to claim on insurance on that, or have we just got to bite the bullet and because if we can't fix it, they need that sign, and if we have to purchase a new one, and what that costs likely to be, you might have to take that on notice. But
I think we might take that on
Yep.
notice.
Thanks, councillor. I can do some research and come back. Councillor Pilkington.
Is council aware that the Bass Strait Freight has abandoned plans to ship from King Island to Apollo Bay, as reported in the press, and has any arrangement been made between Circuit Head Council and King Island Council to meet on this topic?
I wasn't. I missed that in the press. I wasn't, I'm sorry, but we could certainly, I'll chase up Mayor Blackie and have another chat.
It's the time to do it now, I think.
Yep. I'll give him a ring tomorrow. Any further? Councillor Hine?
Yeah, following on from that, from Steve's question, can we start and sit down with King Island Council and just sort of progress it forward, sort of thing?
We've already had, Councillor Hine, we've had a meeting with Councillor Pilkington was involved with. At the appropriate time, a group would be put together to do that, but it wouldn't be at two whole councils, no.
Right, I don't think. My question, one of my questions is through you to James, I reckon. What's the time frame to commence the upgrade of the junction of Church Street and Wharf Road at Stanley, where that major problem is?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. That particular project is at design stage at the moment, so the plan would be to bring it to council for with a view to constructing next year, should you choose to do so through the budget process.
So next year's budget consideration.
Yep.
Thank you. We were circulated with an email from the Muswellbrook Shire up in New South Wales, I think, solar panels, etc., etc. And I wondered whether, and it goes on from that, that's renewable energy stuff, whether we have a policy of being able to accept in our waste facilities for wind tower blades and that sort of stuff, and has any of it been sort of deposited there in the past?
We're out here, James.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. We have received some wind turbine blades before at the Port Ladder landfill facility, but there are no special waste disposal methods in place currently for those. They just go into the landfill.
Thank you.
No further questions? Thank you. 8.0, notice of motions nil. 9.1, environmental stewardship plan. James.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a report, councillors, to adopt the environmental stewardship plan. Council initiated development of this plan through an annual plan and budget item and commenced work in October 2023. The plan has been developed through comprehensive stakeholder engagement process and reflects Council's corporate strategic direction, legislative requirements and the community's aspiration for environmental outcomes. The plan's structured around three core themes: council stewardship, ensuring that environmental sustainability is embedded in council's current operations and projects. It features placemaking to enhance management of council-owned land through initiatives such as ecological restoration, and community partnerships to ensure that partnerships and relationships are fostered to empower community-led action. One of the flagship projects that would come out of the plan is the Duck River Revival Project. The Duck River is one of Circular Head's great natural assets, and the project will aim to integrate restoration with public engagement and sustainable land management. The key goals would be co-designing a project with the community, reviving the Duck River water quality through reducing pollution, and creating and maintaining good green spaces and improved recreational access to the river. As discussed in section 3.1.2, the plan seeks to integrate restoration with public engagement and sustainable land management to improve water quality. The water quality in the Duck River is influenced by the whole Duck River catchment. Council has a role to play through collaboration with industry stakeholders, government departments and landowners to influence land management in a sustainable manner and to reduce water pollution within the whole Duck River catchment. So it's proposed that a project plan be formed during the 25-26 financial year to develop that Duck River project in more detail. By adopting the Environmental Stewardship Plan, Circular Head will establish a forward-thinking direction for environmental leadership to improve operational practices, strengthen community and industry partnerships, and improve council's image, reputation and competitive advantage in sourcing external funding. So with that, I'll present the report for your consideration.
Any questions before I ask for a move and a second? If not, can I have a mover and a second for the report? Move Councillor Pilkington, second Councillor Dabner. Councillor Pilkington, do you wish to speak to your...
I just think this is a good report. It's needed to sit under state and federal laws which really control us anyway. But we need to look after the environment in our community, and this report gives us a plan to do so.
Councillor Dabner, you wish to speak?
No, thank you.
Other speakers for or against? Councillor Hine?
I'd like to move an amendment to that if it's possible.
If it's possible.
Seconder.
Yep.
Thank you. I have emailed it to...
Must have been emailed late. Make it a bit bigger, please, Matt.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
Right, the amendment. Do you want me to read that, Tony?
I'd like to move that.
Right, the amendment as on the table is the council adopts an environmental stewardship plan that is defined to be written within our town boundaries and any other council-owned and leased land outside of those boundaries. That includes open spaces and reserves, etc. And that any financial expenditure, including staffing costs associated with that plan, I've got my glasses on.
Be a standalone item.
Be a standalone item,
Entity.
within our council's financial system. Right, are we a seconder for that amendment?
I'll second it just because I've got a question.
Seconded by Councillor Dabner. We will debate it. You can think you've got it open.
That's all right.
Councillor Hine.
Thank you. Look, I've moved that, I've worded that because I think the other is too open, and we need to put some parameter around how far we go. It's only recommended for a 3-year plan. We can go and once we get along the track for 3 years, we can go back and look at budgets and things like that and get further support. But what concerns me about the whole thing is about really, as far as it's got, the minuscule amount of people that actually got involved and as part of promoting this. When you look at, I think the total was 71 people, and 2 of those from outside the district, so you're looking at 68 in total as far as Circular Head residents are concerned, and of that there was really only about 30% were in favour as far as being positively involved in environmental things such as the river. And so I think we need to take a step back really, and try and see if we can get some more involvement and get a broader perspective and support from the community before we go down too far. And so that's my main concern. I agree that we sort of go this far and just see how far what comes out of it. There's no real cost there as far as how much it's going to cost to clean the dead trees out of the river. There's no indication of how many river crossings we're looking at. There's no annual cost for the suggesting of stormwater filter, and there's no real cost as far as a proposed feasibility study. And so I think we need to have a good hard look at where we're going and come up with some of those figures before we commit this municipality to any great expense on that. Thank you.
Councillor Debner?
Through you, Mr Mayor, I'm just wondering, Councillor Hine, if you could just describe as one long sentence that covers a couple of things.
Yes.
What this changes to the proposed motion, what the differences are between what you're proposing. Is this an amendment? Is this an addition? If you could just summarise it for everybody, please.
It's supporting the concept, but it's putting some parameters around how far we go. If you look at anyone that looks at that reads the paper as far as what Sue Smith has said about the councils, etc., and I'll quote Mrs Smith warned council, we're doing too many things these days, and suggest that we could not go on forever. And she goes on to say the rates are getting quite substantial for the level of services, and it's community fault, and it's the community's fault because the community wants more and more. And the next paragraph, they want the soft and fancy things, and they are things that take the money. That's where I'm at. I think we've got to stand back and look at where we're going. The community's got a limited amount of resources, and this is probably going to add a hell of a lot to the cost of the community.
But I'll give you a chance to speak if you wish, Councillor Debner. You did ask a question there, but...
No, I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good, thank you.
And Councillor Pilkington?
Well, I speak against the amendment. Tony knows why, because we've talked about it. But it's a guide to the way we do things, and any expenditure, I presume, will go through the budget, so we'll have full control over it then. So I think the plan, as it stands, is good, and the time to control expenditure is at budget time.
Any other speakers to the amendment? So if not, I'll put the amendment. Those in favour of the amendment?
Aye.
Those against?
Aye.
Amendment fails. We go back to the motion. We've had the... Councillor Holder, you look like you wish to speak.
I'm just waiting for everybody to go.
You're going to go last.
Well, I can do. I just let everybody go.
Well, we've... who moved the motion, sorry?
Steve.
Steve, you speak, and Councillor Debner declined. Any other speakers to the motion now? For or against?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm going to oppose this, and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to oppose it, because I see this as being targeting of the rural people. And if you define water courses, anything that runs water for 9 months of the year. Now think about that for a moment. Think about it. Right? The sprays and things that people use, the farming community have to have a licence. That's why they use professional contractors on the majority of occasions. Because if you haven't got a licence, you can't buy the chemicals out of the merchandise store. The professional people, they they go and get the product that goes on your bill, but you're not allowed to go and buy it. So that's the first one. But secondly, is that the urban people, and I'm not being picking on urban people, but this is the reality. They can go and buy chemicals to use around their gardens without a licence. They can go into the supermarkets or the nurseries and buy all those things, and there's as much runoff out of that as there is coming out of farms. But nobody wants to look at it. The land care groups, and you've got to get rid of the rice grass, first to admit it, but they're spraying with a chemical, the Roundup, right alongside the waterway. Is that the farmer's fault? And then it'll come down to the developments. As soon as we have to have a development with a policy like this, will add to the cost of developments. Now, I've used a figure somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000. It will cost extra. We all need to think about it, and that's why I'm voting against it.
Thanks, Councillor Oldacre. Any other speakers? I'll be supporting it. I think it's a good plan, and it'll has a good base to work from. Even taking into account the things Councillor Oldacre has put forward, there's controlling measures in place for those things. I think it's a good plan. With those said, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Aye. Aye. Those against?
Aye.
Got 'em? Thank you, councillors. Financial report, Rach.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Councillors, we have the financial reports for the period ending 31st of January 2025 before you. We received no applications for first homeowners grant, acknowledging one in total for the year, so the end of the 7th month it's actually down a fair bit compared to our previous years, and I know councillors in their social media space give it a good plug every now and then, so that's good as well too, so thank you for that. In terms of the financial position, we've got total community equity of $279.5 million, which is predominantly made up of our infrastructure, plant and equipment at $238 million. In terms of the comprehensive income statement on page 50, we've got a surplus year to date of $1.8 million compared to the year to date budget of $1.1 million, and our overall deficit for the year looking at $2.4 million. We have done a review, a half-yearly review, so council will be receiving a budget amendment report at some time in the next couple of months to consider as well too. In terms of statement of cash flows, our current cash at the end of the period is $20.8 million, with forecasts for the end of the year of $11.7. In terms of receivables, the proportion uncollected of rates is 17.04 compared to 15.05, so a couple of percent higher than what we were at the same time last year. And our debtors, in terms of our sundry debtors, are down a fair bit at 207 compared to 910 for last year as well. On page 53, we've got our cash and term deposit rates sitting there, which will no doubt after Reserve Bank drop, that those rates will start to come down, which we may need to revisit our budget again, and our long-term financial plan of some of the assumptions that we've actually put in there as well too. Councillor Hine, you've picked up an error in our reports on page 55 in terms of depreciation on buildings. So thank you for that, and what we'll do is we'll give Matt a replacement set of financial statements for those last couple of pages to actually put in there, so thank you for that. And then we have the cash and investments comparisons. I'll take any questions, Mr Mayor, and present that for Council's consideration.
Thank you, Rachel. Any questions? Councillor Pilkington?
Is the 2.5%, 4 million at 2.5%, is that an historical one or just a...
0.25. That would be probably one that's come out of a term deposit for the last 2 days of the month that's just sitting there ready to be reinvested again. Yeah, so that's a timing thing. Yeah. You know, Dunk, through Mr Mayor, Dunk handles most of our investments, and yeah, sometimes there's the timing at the end of the month where you've got a day there where it'll sit ready to be reinvested again, depending on what's going on, and waiting for rates as well to come in from banks.
Any further questions?
There was a question on, I've lost some of my pages somewhere, on, here we are,
Councillor Hine. Councillor Hine.
on
Nudge him. So,
24.
Stand up.
Sorry?
Hey, how many times are you going to be told? Stand up.
Oh, sorry. I was looking for the page. And it's page 25 of yours. Oh, you had different page numbers than me. I don't know why that is. But it's to do with the grants, and I've got page 24 out of it. So, what's the breakup really of those three grants and its explanation of yet what's to come?
What grants?
Trying to find out where we're at.
It's a third page in after. I don't know why I got different pages than you, but
Grants, 51.
Page
51.
52.
If I had my glasses, I'd be better.
you see a different page there.
Oh,
24. Don't know why I haven't got the same pages.
Yeah, can't see
You've
it.
got the hidden agenda, Mr. Howard.
Page 50.
He probably hasn't got the updated one.
Page 50.
Capital grants, maybe, is it?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
capital.
So why aren't the pages right?
Because you've messed with him.
So, Councillor Hine is looking on page 50 of the agenda in the comprehensive income statement. So there's a line item in there for grants.
Oh, yeah.
Year to date, we've received 400, and the budget year to date is 745, but overall for the year it's 4.4 million. And all of that to do is with timing. It's timing of when certain grants come in. So what we have to do basically at this time of year is forecast the next financial year, the timing of those. And it might be, depending on when invoices are sent, it might be when the departments pay them or anything like that. The bulk of that, though, is the financial assistance grants, and that'll more than likely come in on about the 29th of June. So that's, so it's all to do with timing.
Thank you.
The main bulk of that is, like I said, the financial assistance grants for the general one, the financial assistance grants for roads. Then we have a couple of operational ones which are actually for Kate and Yvette through the 2610 and the Access to Health grant. So that's what the timing of those payments would be for. So that was the bulk of our grants for this year. Yeah.
Thank you. I reckon that answers that. This is the earlier edition that come in. I've done my notes on that. And
Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
further questions? If not, I have a mover and a seconder for the, thanks Deputy Mayor, second Councillor Pilkington. No further debate. Put the motion, those in favour.
Aye.
Against, carried. Citizen of the Year Awards amendments to nomination form and process. Alan.
This report seeks your consideration of two matters to do with the Citizen of the Year Awards. The first one is adding a process where we hold unsuccessful Citizen of the Year nomination for 3 years. And secondly, and we'll bring this back further, consideration of hanging honour boards at the Red Ground, and we'll bring that back as part of the budget. So I'll put that for your consideration.
Is there any questions on?
Well,
Yes,
Mr.
Laurie.
Why would you want to hang on to those that have been nominated and are not successful? Why wouldn't you ask them to put in?
So, sorry, yeah.
Because that, to me, is if they still want to be nominated, then, well, let them be nominated each year. But why would you want to hang on to them? That's, I just don't quite the honour board part, I would fully support, because I think that needs to happen. But the other one is, I think, I don't see any necessity to hold on to people's nomination for 3 years when they can do it each year, because what will happen if the committee doesn't change, somebody will then feel aggrieved that it's already been set up.
So my summary perhaps glossed over the detail that's in the report of the process. So in year 2, we would go back to that unsuccessful nomination and say, would you like us to consider your application again this year? And we would do that for 3 years. So it wouldn't automatically be considered in the next year. we would just have an administrative process that enabled us to go back to that applicant and say, would you like to be considered again? And if not, that's the end of it. The panel suggested these proposals.
Well, that's okay, sir. I understand that.
Yep.
But I just queried, why is that necessary? Here's some of the flaws that might cause some trouble somewhere down the track.
Councillor, Deputy Mayor, sorry.
When we discussed the proposals that you see in front of you here, it was really around the fact that some years we get no nominations in for, say, the senior or the junior, and as far as the last lot of nominations went, we had no junior nominated. So if we've had nominations in the past of juniors that missed out, then we can reach out to the people, the nominators, and say, do you want to nominate this person for the next year? That was the only reason, so that we would always have somebody nominated in all categories, because that hasn't been the case the last couple of years. That was our reasoning behind just discussing it. Okay, it's just a thought.
Further questions before I ask for a mover? Yes, Councillor Hine, you got a question?
Well, I'll move it, but
Oh.
can I talk?
Or do you want to talk in the debate? It's a question. It's
Just
a question.
follow up.
It's a question to Alan, or
Yeah,
or
well,
a motion.
it's not a question, it's support really from what and
Right.
being
So
involved.
you'll move the motion.
Yep, I'll move the motion that we accept the
Thanks,
motion as
Councillor Hine.
recommended.
Seconder, Deputy Mayor. Now, Councillor Hine.
Yeah. Thank you. The other thing that the Deputy Mayor didn't touch on, I think needs a little bit more explanation. We had 5 really good applicants, and so they could be in the mix, you know, another year. Yes, I hear what Councillor Oldacre's saying. They could be re-nominated again, but they're already there and they've been nominated, and as long as they're consulted, or the nominee has consulted to want to go ahead again, I think it's a step in the right direction of keeping those names forward.
Yep.
Thank you.
Is any more, Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, there was one more thing. As Councillor Hine just said, we had quite a few nominated for either the senior section or the Citizen of the Year, and some of those people that were nominated for Citizen of the Year could have been in that other section, the seniors, because I think 4 out of them could have slotted into that other. So it gives them an opportunity to be nominated again. The nominators will be asked first, and the nominees will also be asked if they wish for their nomination to go back in. So that it was just to give people the. I mean, I had a conversation with somebody that didn't know that you, as a community member, had to nominate somebody. Actually, didn't know. They thought council chooses these award winners, which really surprised me. So there are people out there that don't know the process. So those people that have already gone to the trouble of filling out all those nomination forms get the chance to resubmit them if they would like to. That's the reason behind it.
Any other speakers, for or against? I'll be supporting, because it allows the nomination to be there if they wish, without having to go through the whole process of doing it again. So.
Just before you put that, have I got a conflict of interest being a former recipient of that? Should I leave the room?
Sit down. It's too late now if you did.
Well, it's just dawned on me.
No, put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Mr Mayor, did you, sorry to be a nuisance to you, but did you get a seconder for that motion to start with?
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor.
Oh, I didn't hear you do it,
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Senior Manager report.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Did you want to comment on any of these? Yep. I will ask the Director of Communities to comment. His team has been very active as usual, and the Director of Infrastructure Services may wish to comment on the award we won for our new grass. So with that, I'll hand over to Alan to make any details.
Yeah, the director can do the award. The community team have been very busy, and they were quite proud of their Monday night event, a new event that they staged called Connect, where they get to talk about the work that council does, and 80 people were in attendance, and we talked about the new community directory, which I put a copy on your tables this morning. And of course, in the last quarter, we got the Mayoral Education Fund, very proud, it was a very excellent program we run, the Australia Day Awards, and the Day on the Duck was in the last report. So a busy period for Council once again.
Thank you, James.
Yeah, through you, Mr Mayor. It's really pleasing to see that Council's been recognised through the Ken Gannon Community Football Facilities Award Tasmania for the rec ground rejuvenation project. So it's a great project, and pleased to see that recognition come through.
Okay, any questions to General Manager or Jones or Alan? Yes, John? Councillor Oldhage.
Mr Mayor, just to James, whatever his title is, I just can't quite read it. What disappointed me, all right winning award, was the comments that was on social media by the secretary of the Saints Football Club, when he said the trouble we have here is dealing with committees. Now, he got questioned last night. He didn't go much on being questioned last night. And then he said, oh, it was taken out of context. But the same thing was still on ABC TV, the same comment. Dealing with committees is their issue. And when we put it on, there was no issue with the committees. But that part disappointed me to see that in there. When we'd spent $750,000, I think the figure is, on the ground, it's a lot of money to have spent to get it right. And it was for their benefit.
Or partly their benefit, yeah.
Well, for the community's benefit.
Yes, yep. Any further questions before I ask for a move and a second? Could I have a move and a second that the report be accepted?
So moved.
Thanks, Councillor Dabner. Second, Councillor Collins. Wish to speak?
Not at all.
No. Others? Put the motion. Those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. We're up to. Hang on. I'll jump the gun then.
9.5.
9.5. Minutes of other committees. We've got the Stanley Town Hall Committee. The minutes there. Any questions or comments? If not, could I have a move and a second that they be noted, please? Accepted and noted. Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Seconded. Thanks, Councillor Dabner. I was getting a bit nervous then.
Every time.
No debate. I put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
11. Where are we up to? 10. Matters considered for consideration by absolute majority as listed, plus there is a late item for the agenda under Regulation 8.6 of the Local Government Meeting Procedures. Regulations, a matter may only be discussed as a late item if it is accepted by absolute majority. The General Manager is required to report the reason, the urgency of the item, and a certification under Section 65 that report constitutes advice of a qualified person. Reason, matters at hand were not able to be finalised prior to the agenda publication but require immediate decision. Urgency to enable consideration of a confidential report R15-2D regarding contracts and tenders for the supply and purchase of goods and services and their terms, conditions, approval and renewal. Qualified person, the advice has been prepared by a qualified person, Rachel Radford, Director, Organisational Performance. Recommendation that the Council by absolute majority decides to deal with the confidential report R15-2D regarding contracts and tender for the supply and purchase of goods and services and their terms, conditions, approval and renewal that is not presently on the agenda for the ordinary Council meeting dated 20th of February. Note, for a resolution to be effective must pass by absolute majority. That's been circulated anyway. So can I have a move in a second and we add that to our closed session? Thanks, Councillor Dabner. Seconded, Deputy Mayor. No debate. I'll just put the motion. Those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried.
And then you go back to
we now need a representation that the council resolves by absolute majority the matters listed plus that in the closed session.
So moved.
Councillor Oldacre, second Councillor Hine, put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Carried. And I now need to close the meeting. Move
Close the meeting to the public.
Close the meeting to the public. Can I have a movement for that, please? Thanks, Councillor Oldacre. Seconded, Councillor Collins.
Well, he did say close the meeting.
Quite right.
Put the motion. Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried.